Hey folks, Quill18 here, bringing you another Heroes of Newerth commentary. Very excited to be doing another one of these. Haven't been playing as much Han over the last few weeks as I've hoped I would. Between the holidays and the Steam holiday sale and doing a lot of videos for that, and being distracted by all the new games, of course, I didn't have a whole lot of time left over for this, but right back into it, played a few games over the last few days, and actually almost all of them as Andromeda. 2 days ago, I guess, was the first time I played as Andromeda, and I'd actually just hit random in-game. I was brave. I decided I'm just going to go for it, no preparation, see who I end up with, hit the random die, get Andromeda, never played her before. Luckily, I did pull up a guide in the other window, so I had a little bit of an idea of what to try to do, and went to town with her, and actually, she turned out to be a lot of fun. And that game was excellent and very enjoyable, and I really want to do a replay for it, but the servers have been a little bit inconsistent in terms of saving those replays, so I wasn't able to get that match, and neither was I able to get, I think, the next one. I believe this is the third game. I'm going to say third game that I've played as Andromeda. I just happened in this particular game, I teamed up with Anime Hero, who was in one of my other videos. I don't remember exactly which one. But yeah, just so happened to work out that way. So down here at the Legion team, we have a Puppet Master, a Fade, a Thunderbringer, myself as Andromeda, and Anime Hero, who will be playing as Meraxis this time around. And over on the Hellborn side, we've got a Myrmidon, who we've seen in videos before. He's got a great set of stuns and CCs and things. A Dampier, who I've never seen before. He is a new hero, was just added in the game fairly recently, and frankly, even after playing against him, I really didn't end up knowing what the heck, what he does really, so I'll be watching for his abilities very carefully in this game to see exactly how he works. Over in the middle, we've got a Soul Stealer. This is my first time playing against a Soul Stealer, although I did see him in another replay that I watched from someone else at some point, and I know he can be a pretty badass carry type hero. We've got a Bombardier coming over here, along with the Armadon also going to be at the bottom. It's worth noting that everyone in this game was somewhat higher rated. Not super high rated, but somewhat better, and definitely not noobish. The only two noobs in the game are myself and Armadon. Everyone else rated around 1600 or so, which is not immense, but is you know, experience, we're going to say. So I was kind of nervous going into this, and looks like we're going to start things off. There's a possibility of a skirmish here over the ruin that could spawn in this spot, and I believe the Bombardier just checked that, and it has not spawned. In fact, people ping up top, because there it is. So there was a possibility of a fight going to happen at the bottom, but no such event. So myself and Meraxis are going to be going to the bottom lane, and we are going to be paired off against Bombardier and Armadon. And I'm going to be doing my best to try to do an overview of the entire game as it proceeds, but of course I'll be giving a lot of first-person impressions, my thoughts of what's going on, why I'm trying to do the things I'm doing, and probably asking a lot of really newbie questions as I go. So, as always, please leave your comments in the text in the comment box. I always read everything, and I really appreciate any advice or either the gameplay or the video. Either way it goes is perfectly fine. Quite a bit of abuse going down on Myrmidon here. So, in the middle, mostly people are going to be focusing on last hitting. Now, down at the bottom here, the few games that I had played with Andromeda, I found her to be an excellent harasser. Now, of course, most of those games I was playing against noobs at similar ratings as myself, either in the public games or matchmaking, and it was pretty easy, I found, with Andromeda to just harass. I picked up her Comet at level 1. Her Comet is a single target nuke that deals damage and stuns for 1.75 seconds. And what's great about it is you can hit someone with the Comet and then follow it up with at least a couple auto attacks and end up doing a lot of damage to them. But of course in this game, at least the Bombardier is a fairly highly rated player, at least higher rated than me, and I was by far out harassed there. Now, additionally, I'm actually going to be trying to, and of course I missed the first kill at the top because it always happens while I'm discussing my my initial thoughts during the laning phase, but whatever. We'll figure something out at some point. trying to combine the first-person experience with an overall game commentary. I mean, you've got to remember, if nothing else, this is never going to be a fantastically high-rated game if I am in it, so you're not necessarily missing anything particularly spectacular, but it looks like Fade is going to go down. No! Is she going to be able to escape? Amazing. Luckily, the Puppet Master, who had been killed, is able to make it back just in time to defend Fade and stop her from suffering a grisly demise. Meanwhile, at the bottom, looks like... Where's Meraxis going? I'm not sure. So, I've got a full load of mana here, and part of what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to conserve the mana. Each spell cast is quite huge. It's 95 mana for one spell, and I only start off with 260. So I'm hoping to actually save as much mana as possible until level 3. If there was going to be a good opportunity for a Comet earlier on, I was going to use it, but I figure at level 3 I'm going to have my second rank of Comet, and that is going to be the perfect time to try to hit people damage. Now, I was going to hopefully do a little bit more harass than I did this time, but it doesn't always go according to plan. In fact, I'm probably shopping there using my courier, I expect, which is why I'm holding back quite so far, despite the fact that I'm not actually that low. The Puppet Master looks like he may be far out of position again. He gets stunned by the Myrmidon, but he should be able to escape. He does turn around there. He's safe enough, it looks like, and... No, he decides to make a move back on the Myrmidon. There comes the Magic Carp, and he is stunned and knocked down, but not quite dead. I think he's going to be okay, but what happened here? Looks like the Thunderbringer went through the jungle and was able to get off a kill there. Oh, kill the courier! Amazing interception! I wonder, does this guy know the timing of when people often buy items? He's going to be chasing down Dampier here, who's quite low, but unfortunately he's got no assistance, and looks like everyone's going to be able to get away, thanks to the tower defending there. Meanwhile, at the bottom, I finally hit level 3, and there we go. I'm deciding to start my harass at this point, and I'm trying to use some of the trees as cover here. I've certainly seen it from the other side. The top lane, the Hellborn are able to use this spot as cover, and then are able to spot around the corner thanks to the creeps and minions here, and they're able to harass that way. I'm trying to see if I can maybe do the opposite. Probably doesn't work because, of course, the minions are here giving the sight. So I did try to put down a little bit of damage. We're trying to get the Bombardier a little bit weaker so that we could eventually set him up for a gank. And yeah, let's see. This my mana regen's not terrible, and I do have a couple of mana potions here. Looks like there may be another skirmish going on top here. Just some harass through the bushes, maybe. Nice damage from the Puppeteer. So he's using exactly what I'm talking about. Using the bush as a way to break line of sight, and then using the creeps to spot around the corner. Looks like I missed another shot there. Again, still trying to weaken him, but I find that the Bombardier is doing a lot of damage back to me. Obviously, I'm not familiar with his abilities, so I really don't know if he's doing anything special that I should be looking out for, but all I know is I am getting harassed back quite a bit, and Meraxis is taking a lot of damage too, and I think what it means... There's a stun, and are we going to be able to finish him off this time? Looks like, oh, I remember this, and I start to pull back because I'm a little nervous about taking damage, but as a result, it means that Meraxis has to chase quite a long time to be able to get the Bombardier down. He ends up taking a lot of damage, and then he has a time bomb on him, which then goes ahead and just detonates. And I feel like if I hadn't stepped back right then, we probably would have been able to kill the Bombardier a little bit faster, which would have left Meraxis with just enough health to survive. So that really sucks. It's these little misplays that even sometimes I feel it in the moment, and I think I felt it when I was playing that game. I was like, I was scared, I was pulling back, didn't want to overcommit. I mean, it's the curse of the being new to the game. You really don't know how much you can take and how much you can dish out. And I don't know, maybe if I'd stayed, they would have continued to focus me, and I would have just dropped a lot faster, maybe without even getting a kill at all, but... ah, well. And we've got a vote here now. I just installed the mod, which should hopefully auto-skip the vote, although I'm trying to remember, this one may not even go through, actually. Oh, vote passed. I'm going to see what happens here. And skipping pause. Look at that! How cool! Awesome. Auto fast forwards through the pause. I'm so excited! I love that this game supports mods. You guys have no idea. I'm such a mod junkie. It's sick. I've installed quite a few over the last few games, and then I've gone and cleared most of them out, actually. The only one I've got is one that actually assists in last hitting. Wow, this pause was longer than I remembered. So what have I got at this point? I've got, there we go, the play's about to continue, of course. I've got a couple of minor totems. I remember I started with a couple of runes of blight to help heal myself and 2 mana potions. At this point, I've used the runes of blight. I do have a mana battery at this point. It's kind of a cool item. For every time an enemy casts a spell within my area, it gains a charge, and up to 10 charges, and I can spend the charges to heal myself. It's 10 damage and 15 mana per charge. Open up with a stun on Armadon there, but I don't think it's going to lead to anything. I even use my Aurora, but as you can see, all that results in is a lot of damage, and I don't think I'm actually pinging the people here, which is foolish, because of course I know how to do that from League of Legends, but it's not something that I've considered, carrying over in this game. And it looks like the Fade is going to try to avenge the Puppet Master, but it's just going to cost her life, as she's not able to get down Dampier. Dampier has a lot of lifesteal. That is one of his abilities, and it's allowing him to hold off a lot of damage in return. Meanwhile, the Myrmidon, of course, has plenty of stuns, as discussed earlier, and makes him a very, very dangerous person to lane against. Meraxes, meanwhile, it has some sort of shield that he just threw up, and resulted in him taking very, very little damage from that harass, which is very cool. He's quite a tough, tanky type character, it seems. He also has I believe, an AoE stun, some sort of stomp. Let's see. Quake. Yep, it's an AoE stun, so I imagine he will probably get a portal key later on so that he can teleport into a middle of a group of people and then stun them. And here I am trying to open up my comet again. I'm going to put a little bit of damage on Armadon, but I don't have enough health to really stick around for a big team fight there. But hopefully, I don't know. Armadon, of course, is quite tough. I don't know if he has it yet. No, not yet, but he will later. He has an ability where he takes less damage from the back and from the side. He doesn't reduce the damage from the front, though, which is kind of interesting. So if you're just trying to duel him one-on-one, he's fairly vulnerable, but in any kind of group fight, or if he's running away from something, he should be fairly tough. Looks like we have an extra dot around here. Looks like... Oh, yes, at this point, because the top lane is having such a difficulty, we are trying to do a swap here, bringing the Puppet Master down to the bottom. But before we do an actual switch with Meraxes going top, we're going to see if we can set up a gank here with the Puppet Master camping out in the woods, waiting for an opening, hoping that they push a little bit. Here we go. I think our goal is to get Bombardier, but it looks like the Armadon is the one who gets out of position. He gets rooted, stunned, and just obliterated, and that works out really, really well. Meanwhile, however, another kill at the top, and in fact, we've got a serial killer in the form of the Myrmidon. Of course, with his stuns, him getting a lead on people makes him extremely dangerous, because he is going to be able to just hold people in place and kill them very quickly if he starts to get fed. Very dangerous thing. So now it's going to be myself and the Puppet Master laning on the bottom, at least for a little while here, I believe. Trying to apply some damage here. Oh, that's right. I remember I spotted the Thunderbringer coming in from the river, and that was actually pretty good timing to come in with the stun and make sure that the Bombardier could not get away. Of course, the contributing with the Aurora as well, which is a cool light effect, which deals damage in the line as well as reducing armor. Now, I don't know if reducing the armor was particularly helpful with the Thunderbringer ganking, since I think he mostly is a magic neuter, but I figured it couldn't help at all. So here's Meraxes at the top. Whoa! Getting in a really bad spot. Multiple stuns going off. Now, Fade may actually be able to kill off the Dampier. Luckily, Meraxes is tough enough that he's going to try to escape. He almost gets killed off by the Bombardier there. Meanwhile, the Puppet Master has teleported to the top and actually pinned down the Myrmidon long enough to allow Fade to get a kill. Excellent. End the serial killer streak. And that is a nice turnaround. And all of a sudden, a game that was starting off looking very, very bad for us has almost equalized 6-4. The, what's his name again? The Soul Stealer has just bottled the Illusion Ruin, which I think this bottle and ruin mechanic is actually really cool. I mean, I'm a big fan of the neutral buff mobs from League of Legends, as opposed to the runes. I don't like the runes in general, but the bottle technique mechanic is very, very cool. That's, kudos to the Dota programmers who came up with that. Brilliant idea. So it looks like the Soul Stealer is using his illusions here to be able to push this lane. He knew the tower was low. I think he's had several opportunities to push this lane beforehand, because the Thunderbringer is going around to try to help out with ganks. And what it means is actually that the Soul Stealer is just able to get a lot of farm on. It's interesting here, he actually leaves his illusions behind while he goes back to shop. I think they just spotted Meraxes in here, and there was a ping. They were looking to get a gank on him, but he got out of there. So yeah, what an interesting mechanic. So he's able to continue to farm using his illusions. I don't know if that's something that really occurred to me. Thunderbringer did come bottom again, hoping to find another good gank opportunity, but unfortunately, there are no enemies left here at the bottom. This juncture, I'm going to bring up the counter here to see how everyone is doing. So, on our team, in terms of creep kills, I'm actually in second place in creep kills, which is pretty good for me. Usually I'm a solid middle-of-the-pack guy. But I've tried to get a lot better with my last hits, and especially with my denies. You can see I'm well ahead on denies on the team. Since I'm playing a support character, I think it's important, especially if I'm laning with someone slightly more carry-ish, to give them the last hits, and while I focus on harass and denying. But I'm actually doing pretty well this time. However, on their team, if we take a look at the Plague Bearer, why do I keep saying that? Or I keep thinking it, the Soul Stealer, he's actually got 34 creep kills already, and actually Pink, who is that? The Dampier has a whopping 25 as well, and it helps that he's jungling here. With his lifesteal, he's able to do this pretty handily. You can see he's not even losing any life. So as a result, the Hellborn team is getting considerably more farm on than the Legion team. Now this is interesting. So we've got the Soul Stealer here, speaking of him, and he's got the Invisibility Rune, it looks like. Yeah, it must be the Invisibility Rune. And he's trying to set up a gank here, and in fact, they are able to come in and just obliterate the Puppet Master. Meanwhile, I'm able to escape, but quite low in health, and in fact, I decided to stick around. I've got the League of Legends mentality here that the tower will protect me, especially now with Meraxes here, but the enemy team knows better. They're going to come around, flank around the trees, and simply... There's the Magic Carp, finishing me off.